So it's race morning, finally come around. Very civilised start today. I only start racing at 7 minutes past 8. So yeah, not had to set my alarm too early, set it for 5 o'clock. Yeah, I guess a few more logistics of split transition of having to get down there, so leaving at 6 to drive out to the lake. But yeah, sort of went down to breakfast, got a couple of cups of tea, just got the rice cooker on to get my rice going. Then yeah, did a bit of mobility, and then it's basically just get down to the lake, set everything up, and then wait to start. But yeah, I feel like pre-race nerves are real now. And yeah, it's definitely that post-injury kind of, it's definitely like a few little bits of doubt of can I make it through an Ironman, but yeah, hopefully they'll disappear when I get going. But yeah, super excited to go and actually race. Let's see what the weather's like and go and enjoy it. Quick one, huge favour to ask. So this year we're trying to improve everything that we're creating, and we don't ask for much, but one thing that would help us hugely would be if you could just hit that subscriber button. Thank you. So some post-race thoughts, but it's still kind of fresh. Yeah, generally, I think like overall headline, super proud, super happy. Yeah, I kind of like, I actually felt quite fit off the training I'd done, but like, and I sort of had the confidence I could get through a marathon having done Ironmans off less, but there's still always that doubt after an injury of like, can I actually run? Like, is my calf going to go again? Is something going to happen? So yeah, goal number 1 was complete the race, start a race and finish it. It's only, basically my second race in like 2 years? 1 year? Yeah, because like last year I basically only did Kona and Gran Canaria badly, so yeah, feels like it's been very little racing over the last 2 years, mainly spent all my time injured. So yeah, main goal was finish a race without injuries, although based off my feet maybe I've not quite managed that. Get my knee slot, which I got, and then kind of anything else was really a bonus. So yeah, so to end on the podium, really, really happy. Yeah, swim, I kind of had as my target Daniela and like potentially Els, like based off, like usually I would expect Els to be ahead of me. Like Daniela I've managed to swim with the last couple of times we've raced, so I kind of thought I probably could swim with Daniela. But yeah, Els was a bit unknown, but I thought maybe with the Roth fatigue she would not be like quite as fast, / there wasn't that many of like the in-between people. So yeah, I basically started near them, aimed for them. Actually had quite a good start for me. Managed to go out quite hard, held my ground a bit more, got on some feet. Was kind of swimming beside Daniela for quite a while, and then I was like, we're kind of just fighting each other a bit, so I dropped onto her feet and basically stayed there for most of the rest of the swim, which was quite pleasant. Yeah, it was quite cool actually, like being in a group of people that I was like, these are the people I want to be with on the bike, so that's epic. We then, I think Kat must have basically just sort of slowed up to then get with the group because we caught her, and yeah, I wouldn't expect to swim with Kat, so. And then I was like, great, we've got someone else strong on the bike to bike with. So yeah, headed out as a bit of a group, split up relatively quickly into our group at the front. of Kat, Els, Daniela and me. It's one of the first times I've been in like an actual group, and honestly it was really hard. I think like group dynamics, I'm so used to just being able to like race my own race, keep relatively steady power, and then like group dynamics, it's quite surgy, like people ride differently. It was like a lot harder up the hills than like what I would do, but then kind of not quite as hard on some of the downhills, but then some people would accelerate really hard over the top of the hill, and then obviously with Race Ranger, then there's the kind of added dynamic of you're trying so hard to not get into that red zone that it's like it then kind of ricochets back as you like come into the hills, because obviously like you roll up to people a little bit, and then you have to like basically brake quite a lot to not go into the red, or you have to go into the red and then like go past people and basically put in a massive surge. So yeah, it made like I found it quite hard. So basically decided to spend most of those first 2 laps sort of at the back. Also because I didn't really have enough power to go sit on the front anyway. So and that was probably a bit harder actually being at the back because of some of that kind of ricochet effect. But I thought I was probably safer at the back in terms of being able to sort of see where people were slowing up and preempt that to like try and basically not end up in the red zone accidentally. Actually, like the referee with our group, I thought was really good. Like they gave a couple of warnings. They weren't being like overly on top of if it was a hill or a corner, of like trying to jump straight on people, which I thought was really good, because I feel like, I don't know, like it seemed like they were clearly looking for like the intent, and they could see like the intent wasn't there. So yeah, it felt like a really fair race. So yeah, like bike pretty good. And then on the last lap, basically after one of the times that I actually went into the red, so went round to the front, then actually kind of felt all right, and didn't really try to put in an effort, but just thought I'll just stay here, ride a bit. Kat came round for a bit because she'd also gone into the red, and actually I didn't realise that we'd put a gap into people until we were basically riding in. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, Kat would have been first into T2, but she went wrong on the last turn. So yeah. But yeah, coming into T2 with Kat and at the front of the race was kind of dream come true, really. Actually being able to like run into transition with her, have a little chat, like really, really cool. And then yeah, obviously I was like, I'm not even going to try and run with Kat. Like that would be really stupid. I know how she runs and I know how I run, and even on my best day, which obviously run-wise is not at the moment, yeah, I wouldn't expect to run with her. So yeah, sort of let her go, settled into kind of my pace, which like I didn't really know, like the GPS obviously in like a town centre, really hard to know if it's, I mean it was like jumping around all the place. Some of the splits I was getting was yeah, like very up and down. So didn't really know, but just basically tried to settle into like good pace, which yeah, actually felt quite good. It was really hot. There weren't really enough aid stations, and definitely could have done with proper ice and way more water. But yeah, settled into my pace, and that was actually all going quite well until about 10k in, when I just got a massive blister on my right foot. Yeah, and like, I could feel it from then, and I was just like, oh, and I was like, should I stop? Is it just the sock in the wrong place? And yeah, actually later on the last lap, I tried to adjust, because then actually my left foot as well also had a blister, and oh, it was so painful. And on a course like that, when there's so many corners, like, and you're out of your rhythm and it just moves the angle a bit, oh, it was like, yeah, horrible. And I was also trying to be quite sensible of like walking through some aid stations to get on enough water, because like running through them, I was just finding like I just wasn't getting anywhere near, like I just, you know, like the little cups that if you're running and you pick one up, you basically spill it everywhere, so you don't get anything. So yeah, basically then was walking through some of the aid stations, and that was actually making it a bit worse, trying to then get going again with the blisters. But yeah, like kind of was still kind of like the second lap actually had some really dark moments. I think like just mentally I was just in a really dark place, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can really do this. Just felt hard, and like such a long way, and like obviously, right, that's like Ironman, it's hard, it is a long way. And I think part of the issue with kind of having the potential to go and race Lake Placid next week, I was also like, oh, I could just drop out and do that. But I was like, no, like you've come here to get your knee slot and finish a race. Like you can't, it's not a good enough reason that you've got some blisters on your feet and you just don't want to do it. So yeah.
That was not quite so bad.
I was actually channeling, I was like, if Lucy can get through Kona and win it with that calf tear, like I can deal with some blisters. So I was trying to channel that. But yeah, there were some very dark moments. And then basically coming to the third lap, my legs started really hurting. I think obviously, right, I've not run more than like 14, maybe 15k in like the last 3-4 months, maybe 3 months. And I've not run over like an hour and a half or an hour and 40 since Kona. So yeah, definitely felt that lack of endurance in my legs. I think had it just been the calf issue from like April, and I hadn't had the Achilles issue from like Cozumel time, and I'd had like a good block then, I would have maybe been alright with like a bit more long runs. But obviously I'd literally only had like 2 actual long runs towards the end of March with the injury before I then got the next injury. So yeah, just like endurance wasn't there, but that's kind of to be expected. So yeah, legs really hurt, blisters really hurt, did quite a lot of walking. But yeah, each time I was just like, nope, like think of everything you've invested, think of all those races that you've missed, that you've been jealous watching and getting FOMO, and think of how much you want to be a niece. So yeah, like really proud of like battling through, making it there. Definitely helped by like just knowing how much support I have out there, like partly like the crowds here, unbelievable, like on that run course, just so good, definitely helped a lot. The other people competing, like every time I was walking, the amount of people that came past being like, oh, vamos, keep going, you know, just like that always helps. And then just all the support for people that I know from home, like everyone that's been there in these last few very tricky months. So yeah, drew on all of that. So yeah, overall, got my knee slot, ended on the podium, made some prize money, yay. Casper might get paid now. But yeah, pretty happy, very sore. See how I feel tomorrow. Still have a provisional flight booked on Tuesday to potentially go and do Lake Placid, but I'm not sure if the feet will handle it, so we'll see. Post-race excellent burger. Sat outside because the hotel wouldn't let us eat in the lounge area. Even though the restaurant isn't open, we're all delighted about it, but we get to watch some of the people still running, so actually really cool.